What's up guys, in this video I'm going to be going over 5 tips that I think will help you get started in Outriders. Now I just beat the campaign, it took me about 20 to 25 hours or so, and I did so without reducing my world tier. The majority of it was solo play, however towards the end I was playing with Epic and we managed to beat the campaign together. But overall I learned a lot about the game and how it works, so I'm hoping that with this video it's going to help some of you guys out. So if this video does help you out, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below, and if there's any other tips you guys would give for new players, be sure to leave them below as well so we can help each other out as people are learning and starting out this game. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 for getting started in Outriders is going to be understanding how healing works in the game. Your main source of healing will come through the form of weapon leech or skill leech, but will also be determined by which class you choose. Each class is different, and there's 4 classes in total. If you choose the Devastator, your main source of healing will come from getting close range kills. Trickster heals and grants shield with every close range kill. Pyromancer heals whenever you kill enemies that are marked with your abilities, and the Technomancer heals in general whenever you do weapon damage or ability damage. There's no potions or healing spells or anything like that. However, I will say that the Technomancer does have a skill that will straight up just heal you and your allies. So if you're struggling starting out, I would highly suggest running the Technomancer, as I think that's a really great starting point. The next tip for getting started in Outriders is understanding how world tiers work. In Outriders, world tier determines the game's difficulty. There's 15 world tiers in total, and a higher world tier will reward you with better loot drops and more experience points whenever you kill enemies. You can unlock world tiers by playing with the highest currently available tier selected. Experience points gained for killing enemies will add to your world tier progress bar. Completing quests does not add to the progress bar. When the bar is filled, the new world tier will unlock until you reach the max tier. You do lose a portion of your world tier progress whenever you die. You can select world tier in the game menu, where you can also choose to have the game automatically select the highest world tier available. Also, every time you unlock a new world tier, you will earn some rewards that you can claim. If you are playing in co-op, you can play on your own highest available world tier as the party leader. But if another player is the party leader and it's chosen a tier higher than what you've unlocked, you continue to level up as you would with your own highest world tier selected. So the main takeaway for world tiers is it determines the game's difficulty. The higher world tier will give you better loot, but it's okay to turn this down. If you want to just breeze through the campaign, you could lower your world tier, or if you get stuck on a certain encounter, you can lower it as well, and then you can always turn it back up once you beat that section. There's nothing wrong with lowering your world tier, just remember to always turn it back up to the highest if you get stuck to a certain point, as you won't gain any world tier progress unless you're playing on the highest difficulty. My next tip for getting started in Outriders is to not use cover. This is a bit different compared to other looter shooters or third-person shooters. Specifically, I think of Gears of War or Division. Both of those games are very cover-based oriented. While there is cover in Outriders, the game is definitely designed to where you want to stay on the move and have fast-paced combat. You can stay in cover to get a quick heal off or something like that. However, if you stay in cover for too long, almost any enemy will chuck a grenade in a big radius that will be sure to hit you. So it's kind of the game's way of making sure that you don't stay in cover for too long. Because of the way the healing system works, you have to play a bit aggressive to stay alive. So just keep that in mind. Don't try to play this like Gears of War or Division, just constantly popping in and out of cover. You can use cover to your advantage, just don't stay there for too long. My next tip for getting started in Outriders is understanding what gear you should dismantle and what gear you should sell. Like any looter shooter, as you progress through the campaign, you start leveling up and you start getting better gear. If there's any blues or higher rarity, meaning blues, purples, or golds, those will all come with mods attached to them. There's different tiers of mods, but we won't go into it in detail in this video. Just know when you dismantle an item with a mod, you will acquire that mod in your mod collection. You can dismantle these out in the wild, or you can go to Dr. Zahili at the camp and dismantle them there. A good rule of thumb is if there's a piece of gear you no longer need and it's blue or higher, go ahead and dismantle it. If it's green, go ahead and be sure to sell it. That way you can get more scrap, which is your currency. Knowing which items to dismantle or sell would become more apparent as you progress later on in the game. But the main thing with the mods is you want to be sure to dismantle any blues or purples as you progress, so that way you can reacquire those mods. That way later on you can put those mods on different weapons or armor pieces. If you guys need more explanation on how mods work in the game, let me know, and I can probably do a separate video explaining them. And the last tip in this video for getting started in Outriders is the auto loot mechanic. Now in the game there's actually a button you can press to auto loot the drops on the ground as you're playing. As you defeat enemies or bosses, there will be loot that drops, but not all loot you'll want to pick up. Eventually you'll get to a point where maybe you're done looking for all the blues and you just want purples or higher. If you press the start button and you go to options, there's actually in the gameplay options an auto loot minimum rarity. You can adjust this according to the tier of loot you want to search for. You can go to common, unusual, rare, epic, or even legendaries. Now if you go to your controls, depending on which platform you're on, I'm playing on Xbox, my auto loot minimum rarity is set to my D-pad and I press the down button. If you're on PC, you'll have to check, but on PlayStation it should be down on the D-pad as well. So as you're playing and you defeat enemies and loot drops, based on your auto loot rarity, you can automatically pick up those items without having to go search for them. This helps out tremendously as some of the fights later on in the game get very long and massive, and it gets a bit tedious to try and backtrack to make sure you picked up everything and it doesn't go away. So before you leave an area or after a fight, just make sure you hit the auto loot button to grab all the gear. So those are 5 tips to help you get started in Outriders. If I had to pick a 6th as a runner-up, it would actually be that there's an in-game guide that does a pretty good job explaining how a lot of the mechanics in the game work. So if you hit start, you can go to guides, and any topic you need more understanding on how it works in the game, you can select between class and skills, crafting, enemies, gameplay and activities, items and resources, and understanding the player camp. This is a really good source for information if there's something you don't know about. But if there's anything you want more in-depth explaining on, let me know in the comment section down below, as I plan on making a few more guides on this game to help some people out. But that was my 5 tips for getting started in Outriders. Let me know if any of these did help you out. And again, if there's any other tips you guys would give for new players, leave them in the comment section down below as well. And if you want to, you can also follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/SpeerGaming. Or if you want to support me even more, you can always become a member here on YouTube or support me over on Patreon. Links will be in the description box below. But as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for the support. And I'll see you guys in the next video.